What's going on, YouTube fam? We back at y'all with another one. Basically the JBT. Joe Budden. He is on vacation right now, and the pod this week they've been putting out pre-recorded pods. But I'm gonna be honest with y'all. The pods this week they've been 2 hours. You know, an hour and a half, and I'm a big fan. I'm a big advocate for the pods being shorter. So, with all that being said, man, let's get on into it. I'm going to go ahead and light my spliff. We're going to get on to these takes, and we're going to take it from the top. Take one. Number one is I love the shorter pods. I think it's great for content. Take number two is even though I may not be too familiar with Money Long. Oh, the excuse me. The name of the Patreon exclusive was That Glimmer. Get the Patreon to know what we're talking about. But That Glimmer, it was featured in the Patreon, and Money Long was the artist that was featured on it. She made a feature to That Glimmer, and it kind of speaks to it can speak to a lot of people. So it's worth it. It's definitely worth it. The gems that you get, the Patreon content, in my opinion. Now, with that being said, let's go ahead and get on into the takes. Again, I'm loving the shorter pods. I think it's great for content. Number two is even though I may not be too familiar with Money Long, um, I love the fact that this pod is only an hour and a half long, and I can kind of form my own opinion and not miss a quarter of my day. You know what I'm saying? Those 4 hour, 5 hour pods, crazy. And yeah, I know I just spent 2 minutes on the pod, on the pod episode length, but I mean it makes a difference in the content and how people look at your content. It makes a big difference. That being said, I don't want it to get watered down. With that being said, take number three. When they said she's the girl that was talking to Nadeska about how much it costs to make good quality music, at that point I realized who she was. Like, I know her music, but I didn't know what she looked like. So when they said that, I know I heard that clip before, and I was like, oh, okay. So I know that she has some type of insight. With that being said, now the next take moving forward as a spade connoisseur, I mean, every single time I hear Joe talking about spades, he was saying that her label mates or her label execs are like his spade sons. I'm a spade connoisseur. Every single time I hear spade talk, I automatically want to sit down at the table and see how good he is because, I mean, I count the cards. I don't play. I play spades. I don't play with the spades. If you know what I mean. Don't let that go over your head. Take number five. One of the greatest things about this platform is just for this exact display of artist personality knowledge. I mean, artist personality knowledge is huge in music consumption. I mean, I like learning about new artists as the person and not necessarily just their music output. You know what I mean? It gives me as a consumer more of a complex decision to support an artist or not. Like I have more information to say, yeah, am I gonna buy this person's album or am I not gonna buy this person's album? I mean, let's be honest, 8 times out of 10, you're not buying a person's album. I mean, if you're a music connoisseur, then maybe a 6 out of 10. But you're not buying every person's album that you hear. You know what I'm saying? So just the fact that he's able to get these extra ears on artists. I love that, and I think that's definitely needed in our platforms. Let's move on to the next take. Take number, what is this? Take number six. When he started talking, when Money Long started talking about the music industry, I immediately thought about Respecting the Conglomerate by Busta Rhymes. If you know, you know. She basically would say like, they have such a monopoly on the space. It don't matter how much money you got. You just gotta respect the conglomerate. You just gotta respect the monopoly. Now, take number 7. I didn't know Money Long was this mature. I mean, again, not that familiar with her catalog. I'm familiar with, like, the major songs. But shout out to her, man. I like her Glimmer comment and how it's the opposite of the trigger word. I mean, I personally, I may have to start using that. I like that a lot. Not gonna hold you. I like that a lot. Take number 8. I like how she operates. I mean, I like how she says she channels stuff. I like how she, makes her own definitions. She doesn't let, too many people interrupt her energy. I like how she operates. And again, hard people to like are my kind of people. You know what I'm saying? Like, if not everybody likes you, you're my kind of person. And she goes into that later on. Next take is take number 9. When Joe said that she was selfless, when Joe said that he was selfless, the look on the crew member's face was hilarious. He said that he would like to think that he's selfless, and they all was like, "What? You cannot be serious right now." And that needs to be a conversation that needs to be had for, like, the intricate pod, you know, consumers. Do y'all think he's selfish or selfless? That definitely needs to be a conversation that needs to be had. But anyway, moving on. Where are we at? Take number 10. Being the least, she stated that being the least talented person in the room was dope and that she loved that. And for that to be her sentiment, I love that for her. Like, that's awesome. You don't want to be the smartest person in the room. When you're used to being the smartest person in the room, it could get toxic. Very toxic. And when you're the smartest person in the room and you don't want to be the smartest person in the room, it can get toxic because then you start looking at other people crazy. But if you have enough growth and stuff like that, and then you can put yourself in a position where you're not the smartest person in the room and be able to value that fact and just take commands. That is pretty dope, especially when you're an awesome specimen yourself. You know what I mean? You're not always going to be the smartest person in the room. You can't always beat everybody. You're never going to be the top person or the best person. You know what I'm saying? Like, even when you think you are, there's always somebody else that's there that got you. You know what I'm saying? This is called evolution for a reason. You know what I'm saying? The reason that we evolve is because tops and records always get broken. You know what I mean? There's no set in stone way of doing things. I hate that motto. Anyway, moving on. Next take. Damn, she is extremely musically inclined. Um, she's like the pure definition of an artist. So basically, as I was going through it, I'm like, damn, I didn't know that she had this long lineage of history in the industry. You know what I mean? It's kind of dope. She's definitely what I would consider a real artist. And I feel like for the most part, he only has real artists up there on his platform. We're talking about Dochi. We're going to. I mean, this can be argued, but Capella Gray. I mean, most of the artists that he has up there, they're real artists. They're not nonsense artists. They're not just looking for a sound. They're genuine artists, and they surround themselves around the right people. Moving forward, Money Long called the Newark couch the hater couch. That was hilarious Basically, Ish and Ice, she kind of said that they was hating during that episode, and it was just funny that she called that couch the hater couch because it seemed like she didn't have too much input on the pod, but she knew enough to be like, "Oh, y'all the haters over here." So she called them the hater couch. That was funny. Shout out to her, and shout out to the pod members for being pod members and taking it, not too serious. Next take. This is take 13. Joe's walk around when she hit him with the so sweet. That was pretty funny. The pod members, they kind of had a laugh about that as well. They were basically laughing because she hit him with what he does to them. So she was being very sarcastic, and she had a very sense of, a certain sense of humor that he has. And when he got hit with it, he was like, "Oh, this is how it feels." Ish, he was ready to jump. He was ready to. He was like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah, yeah. You see how it feels. You see how it feels." So that was just a funny part of the pod. Moving on, take number 14. They have steroids to make your voice stronger. I had no clue. Like, yeah, that's crazy. I didn't know. Call me naive, but I didn't know that they had steroids to make your voice stronger. Anyway, why did things get um weird when Amani brought up Rick Ross featured on her songs? I mean, it got really awkward for a split second. Um, it got really weird. And I mean, Erickson, he did his camera shot thing, like he pans to all of the pod members, which is great for production. But yeah, I mean, why did things get awkward? I wonder why it got so awkward. Like it was just, I don't know. It was just, I want, it maybe, it might, I know I wasn't the only one that seen it because it was clear as day. But when they mentioned Rick Ross, it got awkward and they moved it right along. But I would like to know why. If y'all have any comments, please do comment because I would like to know why because I don't know. But anyway, moving on. Take number 16, and we're almost up out of here. We only got a few more takes. Why was nobody else asking questions? So we're about an hour and 8 minutes into the pod, and it seems like Joe and Muddy Long, they had an isolated interview. Like Joe was just asking a lot of questions, and Money Long was just basically answering a lot of his questions, and he was just going. It just seemed like a back and yeah, I mean, I feel like maybe he said that. Let me get my stuff out of the way first, and then y'all go. But I don't think that's the case because um, as soon as I wrote that take, she asked them if they had any questions for her. And Joe was like, "Yeah, like, do y'all got any questions? Like, don't hush up now." So it was kind of weird. It just felt like a ISO. I feel like they get weird when guests come around. They don't want to really open up and they don't really want to ask questions. But that's just a take. With that being said, moving on. Um, Bertega telling Ice and them that they couldn't separate in the store was wild. Um, that was just a crazy. That was crazy. I don't like that. But let's move on. Um, take number 19. M Ford and Lucky Day, they definitely had a freak off. If you know, you know, get the Patreon so that you can see the content. Man, let's give a shout out to Manhattan Gray, my sponsor. You can keep your hair healthy, happy, shiny, oily, and just full. You don't necessarily have to have gray hair. This is good for your skin. This is good for your hair. It's good for, especially the way I use it is after the shower. I'll put it on my hair, I'll put it on my face and all of that good stuff. And everybody tells me that I look extremely healthy. So shout out to the sponsor, Manhattan Gray. Go ahead and go over and support a black owned business, manhattangray.com. And shout out to you if you guys are still here listening, man. Once again, thank you for still being here. And just remember, man, the best takes are the church's takes. That's it. That's all, and man, we out. Peace.